Hey bros, welcome to Spatual Bros. I'm the chef and we're back after quite a long break. First review of 2026, by the way, of the One Piece chapter, the highly anticipated chapter 1171. A chapter that officially marks the end of a very long flashback. A flashback that's fascinating in many ways, a bit weird in others, but in any case, it was still a real One Piece moment, I have to say. We really got a great One Piece moment with this flashback, though. Boom! Alright, now that all that's been said, I have to say, there's still something that felt weird to me. We come back to the present, and then suddenly, bam, a panel comes out of nowhere, and we see Luffy. I'm like, oh, the bastard is back. Oh, the bastard. It had been about 6 or 7 months since we saw him, and then he suddenly appears with no build-up, just pops up and says, let's fight. We're like, oh yeah. It felt weird to see Luffy again. I'm like, it's true that he's the main hero of the manga after all. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, my guy Luffy, after all the aura farming we had in that flashback, when we see your face again, we're kind of happy, but we're also like, ah. How long until it returns to Bugs Bunny mode? That's kind of the problem. Well, we know that once again, I understand the intention behind it. But anyway, with everything we've had Rocks, we've had Harold, we've had some Roger, we've had some Garp, the bitch, we even had some Shanks. Red hair who fights, we come back, we're gonna have Luffy who's gonna be like, alright, let's go, well, if you know what I mean. But it's nice. It means that the story on Elbaf is going to move forward. But before that, we're still going to go back a bit to the end of this flashback, this epilogue to the flashback, if I may say so, yes. So, the Loki-Herald fight ends with a kind of massive one-shot with his hammer, which we now know is called Ragnir. Well, I don't get the mythological reference for Ragnir. But we know that the one-shot, we still don't know exactly what it is. The power, we'll come back to that. What's interesting is this one-shotting. Beyond the supposed power of Loki, it's Imsama's reaction to Harold's defeat. And there, Imsama looks like he's in total shock. That's interesting. He's like, wait, I don't get it. Harold was an anti-giant who had made a pact. He was immortal. He had insane power. He was ultra boosted. Normally, no one on Earth could beat him. What is this story? What kind of power? And that's interesting. What being or what power, let me explain exactly how it's phrased, what being or what power is hiding on Elbaf to be able to defeat such a warrior? And then I was like, wait. That means there are things that are beyond Imsama's understanding and knowledge. Because up until now, this is a character, an entity who seemed not only to have influence and power over the world, but also to have knowledge. And actually, from this knowledge comes his power, like it's the forgotten century. We have to keep this knowledge to ourselves, otherwise it puts our legitimacy and our power, our influence over the world, at risk. So you feel like this character, Imsama, knew everything about everything. But with this line, we learn that no, there are things he doesn't know. There are secrets he himself doesn't know. So, in addition, not only does it mean that he or she isn't infallible, this entity isn't infallible, but also, there are things to discover that even the world government doesn't know itself. That's interesting. I find that interesting. So there's a whole mythology, a secret surrounding the race of giants, which still has yet to be revealed. But it's not just to be revealed to us, the readers, but also to the antagonists too. That's interesting. Well, obviously, he says the line, but don't forget that the giants are connected to the D. You're going to have to stop dangling that carrot at some point, Oda. Come on, it's been 27 years now, something like that. What's the D? A clue, something, give us a hint. Every time you tease us, you mention he has D in his name. Does Harold have D in his name too? Does Loki have D in his name too? Maybe I'm just embarrassing myself and missed something, but I think he's always been called Harold. Just Harold, there's no D, and Loki, same thing. Just Loki, there's nothing after his name. So why is it connected to the D? Why, how? Imsama also said something interesting. He said that usually we avoid involving the giants in the world government because, as warriors, they would eventually rebel against us. So there's real fear about the giants, which is a bit surprising. So actually, the story is that Harold threw himself into the lion's den all by himself, even though the government didn't originally plan to mess with them. He threw himself into the lion's den alone. Now I'm being nice. Go ahead. I'm free. Take me. And then they were like, yeah, yeah, we'll take you. They used Harold for nothing, really. So anyway, even if he had sucked up completely, he would never have joined the world government. Because actually, there's just too much distrust. So that means there is a force in the world capable that potentially has the potential, yeah, that phrase sounds weird in French, that potentially has the potential to actually overthrow the world government. That's interesting. He fears them. Well, after that, it matches with what we know now about the current era, where Imsama sent the Holy Knights to try to blackmail the giants into fighting under the banner of the world government. Because clearly, they're starting to get scared in the world government, with revolutions happening everywhere, and the emperors being too powerful. That's it. Okay, they also say, wait, they got Harold, so let's go after them and send more Holy Knights. That there's still Harold's Abyss on the island, come on, let's go, we're going to crush them. Which explains why Shanks' brother and the other one arrived at the castle, by the way. Anyway. And he goes, no, 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 it just means it's going to get more Holy Knights killed. And he says another sentence, He says, because even for me, when I make a pact, it affects me too. And you see that afterwards he's out of breath. That means when you kill a holy knight, it also hurts Imsama. That's interesting. It's like signing a pact, but the pact isn't one-sided. There's still a trade-off. Maybe he has to split his immortality or something similar. That's interesting and could be the key to his defeat. If you destroy all the divine knights, it's kind of like Horcruxes. Yeah, I'm making Harry Potter references now. There's something interesting going on with that. We actually see Imsama suffering. It's not the first time we've seen him like this. During the hockey knot at Egged, he was in bad shape too. Now it's happening again. Well, this actually happens earlier, but you get it. He's in bad shape again after Aral's defeat, like, damn, I really felt that one. So, that's actually an interesting thing, to say that he's not invincible. Another interesting moment is when Shanks pulls his arm like that, and there are flashbacks like, damn, am I really part of a messed up race and all that. Maybe I could have helped Aral if I'd warned him sooner. Yeah, actually. If you had warned him earlier, maybe he wouldn't have gotten screwed over. I don't know why you didn't warn him before, that's what I was saying. There are some reviews about it. I said, well, wait, Shanks, you knew there was a scam. You didn't say anything. Why not? That's what I don't get. You can also sense Oda is trying to retcon. One of the biggest legendary inconsistencies. So, let's say that actually it wasn't an inconsistency. I don't know, justify it. But, well, justify, fix an inconsistency. It's about how Shanks, the ultimate emperor, super powerful, who was apparently able to defeat Loki. I mean, we realize we're going to talk about power scaling for a few minutes. I know in White Piece it doesn't make any sense, but still. I mean, we have Loki. He one-shots a fully boosted Harold. Apparently it's the most powerful thing ever seen on Earth. And Shanks, no! Shanks destroys him. What happened? He destroys him, but maybe thinks it's Shanks, so he won't fight him. Okay, I give up. Still, it's odd since Shanks is really strong. If that's true, watch out. Anyway, what was I saying? Well, I don't remember anymore. Yeah. Wait, so you can tell that Oda is dropping hints about why and how Shanks was actually happy to lose his arm. Like, he saw an opportunity. There's a damn sea monster at Hezblue. He was like, oh, you're gonna bite me? Go ahead, go on, take a bite. All the better. Go on, take a bite out of me. It's weird that he got his arm eaten. So now he's gonna try to explain that, like, actually it's a sacrifice. I said opportunity. Well, you could have cut off your arm by yourself. You fought Mio 36,000 times. You could have let him cut your arm off. Anyway, the explanation will be weak. Or maybe, I think that to tie it all together, Shanks has to know what Luffy's fruit is from the start. That could be the beginning of an explanation that makes sense. Like, hey, I know the fruit is in Luffy's hands, so he's the chosen one because that's clearly it. He's the prophecy's chosen one. We're going to end up with something like that. He's the chosen one from the prophecy. So I wasn't meant to be Joy Boy. Maybe he's trying to be Joy Boy, I don't know. There you go, Joy Boy is here. It's good to make sure that nobody knows conjugaison. I found Joy Boy. I'm biting off my arm so they can't track me, and now no one knows where I am. And that way, they can't make me talk, or force me to talk, or anything like that. It's fine, I'm taking the secret to my grave. Here, the fish takes my arm. There you go. If that's the explanation, I say yes, okay, that works. If it's just, oh, like that opportunity makes the thief, that's really weird. But if it's part of a plan, like I know I found the right guy, I know Joy Boy's gonna come, I leave him the hat because I know the hat means something too, I leave him the hat. On the other hand, I'm a danger to him. Because with the mark, maybe they can make me talk at any moment. Maybe they can take control of me. Maybe they can find out where I am. Come on, I'll take off my arm, that way I'll be safe. That would work, if you know what I mean. Yes, and that kind of answers the question I was asking myself a few reviews back. How is it that Loki is accused of Harold's murder when Shanks, Gabon, and the Jarl were present and know what really happened? Well, the explanation was the one I had guessed, which is that, well, Loki told them to keep their mouths shut. Well, so while it does say something about Loki's character, in this sacrificial hero mindset where he wants to come off as the villain, well, he's not an angel either. He's ready to take on his father's sins, if you will, in a way, even if it's sinning at will, but still sinning. He says, it's fine, I'm used to being the outcast and scapegoat. Blame me, I'll leave to protect the secret, take the surviving soldiers, and become a pirate. And then, that's it. This way we preserve my father's image, we also preserve the fight he led to make Elbaf a kind of paradise. Of paradise. Of a pacifist paradise, that's it. We're gonna do that. But at the same time, since I'm making a crew of giant pirates and I'm gonna cause chaos on the sea, I'm still, paradoxically, going to mess up the reputation of Elbaf's reputation. But oh well. That's just me nitpicking. But oh well. So that was my mistake. I thought he was locked in hell because he killed Harold. Except no, he was arrested for something else and they took the opportunity to punish him for that too. That was an inconsistency on my part. It slipped by me. I go through 128 chapters, so things occasionally get missed. It's not a big deal. Well, on the other hand, the excuse is an easy one. Once again, while it helps flesh out Loki's character, and to show another side of him, which we had already started to see at one point when his adoptive mother died. Still, the excuse is a bit too convenient, though. There you go. We promised to stay silent, so we will. All that just to end up revealing it. Still, it feels a bit suspenseful, a bit artificial, I think. There you go. We've seen Oda be more subtle. I don't have an example in mind, but well, it's not. All shonen do this at some point. It's not a big deal, but still, it's a bit too convenient, I think. And so, back in the present, finally, Hagen's like, oh, okay then. Sorry, I thought you were the one who killed our father, but it wasn't you. So okay. Alright, let's fight the bad guys now, and that's it. I think that's good. It's not, well, I know we weren't expecting some big emotional crying scene like, oh, I'm sorry, but still, here it's just, oh, okay, well then, let's move on to something else. People aren't surprised. The world government killed your king, and everyone just goes, oh, okay. That's it. There's no. That's it. There's still a part Loki doesn't know. Why his father ended up in that city, which Harold, or rather Gabon, wanted to explain, but RJ said to save it for later since the flashback was already long. It's time to get back to the fight. It's a little too easy. Anyway, so Luffy stays with Loki, and they're gonna fight that big giant skeleton thing, and then we see him say, hey, go on without me. I can fly. And he's like, yeah, you can fly, huh? What's up with that? So he can fly. So probably like Thor with the hammer, but we don't know anything. So he can fly. We still don't know what his fruit is. We still don't know what his hammer is, but apparently he can fly and then he hits the thing and he freezes it. And you're like, wait, what are your powers, asshole? At some point we just don't know. You do lightning, you do fire, you do ice. What is his power? He ate the fruit of the tree. So the fruit of the tree, it does... Well, he says the name Niflheim or something like that, so that's the realm of the frost giants in Norse mythology, I think. So, he's going to do all the realms then. There are 7 or 9 realms, so he must have a power tied to the 9 realms. Which makes sense, because if the fruit he ate is from the Yggdrasil tree, Even if it's not called that on Elbaf, it makes sense. But now we'll have to see. So the whole thing with the mystical priests seems to have been dropped. For now. So we'll see what will his power be and why. Why, especially why can his power kill divine knights? Supposedly immortal. Why can he do it? Is it connected to the Conqueror's Haki, or is it related to something else entirely? Because Conqueror's Haki can injure them, sometimes seriously. It can't kill them, but it can hurt them. So what more does Loki have? That's what interests me. I need an answer to that question. But it's probably related to the die, certainly. Really? Anyway. Now, we're coming to the end of this flashback. We'll need to go back over the different events that were going on because it was more than 6 months ago after all. I'm excited to see what they'll throw at the Holy Knights. There you go. Since Loki handled Herald easily, he's about to face Summers and cause some real trouble. He's going to really mess things up. That's it. I'm honestly looking forward to seeing how this whole story is going to turn out. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. As for chapter 1171 of One Piece, it seems to me that next week there's another break. But hey, that's life. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon on Spatchel Bros for new videos. Let passion guide you. Yes.